English Literature, Introduction to Poetry. Elegy written in a country churchyard by Thomas Corey. Short questions with answers. Episode 2. Question 8. What attitude to nature is reflected in Gray's elegy written in a country churchyard? Answer. The attitude to nature as reflected in elegy written in a country churchyard does not go with the new classical tradition, though Gray wrote the poem towards the end of the new classical period. His attitude to nature is similar to that of the Romantic poets. In the first part of the poem, in which Gray creates proper atmosphere for mourning, a communion between the dead villagers and nature is evident. It is apparent that nature takes part in mourning. The day is parting, the way is weary, the world is engulfed by darkness, the landscape is glimmering, the air is still, the beetles are droning, the moping owl is hooting, the elms are rocked, and the turf is heaving, because it is the time of mourning. All these natural objects are sad with the speaker and seem to take part in mourning. The poet's use of the many a gem purest ray serene and many a flower of the desert for the dead villagers is also similar to that of the Romantic poets. In the epitaph, the speaker imagines himself resting his head upon the lap of earth, reposing in the bosom of the Father and his God. Thus, the attitude to nature in this poem is positive, similar to that of the Romantic poets. Question 9. What does the epitaph in the elegy written in a country churchyard signify? The epitaph that comes after line 116 is, in fact, the synthesis of the poem. Up until this point, the speaker reflects on ordinary real life, poverty, death, rich life, happiness, and that leads the reader to think of the meaning of life. At one point, he imagines his own death. He foresees that probably some hoary-headed swan will fill his absence. Since the shepherd cannot read, for thou can read, the speaker reads the epitaph for him. The epitaph reviews the memento mori theme that has been developed throughout the poem. It means that the epitaph re-emphasizes the theme, remember that you will die. Earlier in this poem, the speaker says, the paths of glory lead but to the grave, to remind that death is an equalizer. It is inevitable. Everybody has to ultimately rest on the lap of the earth, which means dust goes to dust, irrespective of low born or high born. The last line reinforces this Christian belief that everyone has to return to the Creator, the bosom of his Father and his God. The apologistic, sublime tone of the last four stanzas is akin to Christian submission to God. So, the epitaph in the total design of the poem is very significant as a quest for the meaning of human life. Question 10. Why did the villagers fail to achieve greatness in Gray's elegy written in a country churchyard? Answer. Gray writes chill penury, repressed their noble rage, and free the genial current of the soul. It is the cause for which the humble villagers could not achieve greatness. The rude forefathers of the hamlet did not have the opportunities to use the genius that they had. It is poverty that did not allow them to acquire knowledge. They were like the unknown gems that lied at the bottom of the oceans for ages. They were like the flowers that bloomed and perished away in the desert, unseen. Given opportunities, they could have been as great as Hampden or Milton or Cromwell. Their lot forbade them to rise to power. Had their fate allowed them, their hands might have swallowed the rod of empire. They could have scattered plenty over a smiling land. But their fate did not allow them to do any of these things. Their poverty prevented them from achieving greatness of any kind. Question 11. What are the times of the day the speaker describes in Gray's Elegy? What purpose do the descriptions serve? Answer. The speaker refers to 3 times of the day in Gray's Elegy. In the opening lines of the poem, the speaker refers to evening when the curfew tolls the knell of parting day. The domestic animals are coming back to the owners' houses. The tired villagers are returning to their homes after the day's work. The glimmering landscape fades and the night falls. This description of the evening creates a suitable atmosphere of elegy. The second reference to the time is of the morning that comes in lines 17 to 22. The day starts with a breezy call of incense-breathing mom, when the swallows twitter from their straw-built shade and cock's shrill clarion is heard. The description of the morning has been used to create pathos and comes in the last line of the stanza. No more shall rouse them from their lowly bed. Third reference to time is of the noon in line 103. His listless length at noontide would he stretch. In the description of the lonely persona passing the midday under a solitary tree, the poet has created empathy. Thus, the 3 times of the day have been described in the poem to enhance elegiac effect. Question 12. Comment on Gray's treatment of death in Elegy written in a country churchyard. Answer. Thomas Gray in Elegy written in a country churchyard has personified death. He says that nothing can soothe the dull, cold area of death. He has treated it as a powerful equalizer who does not draw any line between the poor and the rich. The rich people who ignore the poor villagers' graveyard are also subject to death. The boast of heraldry or the pomp of power cannot protect them from death. Those who are proud and ambitious, those who live in luxury and leave behind people to sing songs in their praise, awaits alike the inevitable hour of death. The humble hard workers of the village live and die unknown, like the unknown precious gem at the bottom of the ocean, or they die unknown like the flowers which bloom and perish away unseen in deserts. On the other hand, the rich are educated and rise to power through bloodshed, enjoy all that wealth can offer. They may have the long-drawn ale and fretted vault. They may have the pealing anthem that swells the note of praise, but nothing can bring back the fleeting breath, whether the dead is a poor or rich. It is because the paths of glory lead but to the grave. Question 13. Explain the significance of many a gem and many a flower used in Grace Elegy written in a country churchyard. Answer. Thomas Corey uses many a gem and many a flower in an elegy written in country churchyard as metaphors which are well known for their significance. Gray uses them in the portrayal of the humble life of the villagers who lived and died unknown in a village far from the madding crowd's ignoble strife. These metaphors are very functional to convey the idea about the villagers' invaluable life in the real judgment of the purpose of human existence. In towns and cities, people ceaselessly struggle for money, power, and luxury. They are ambitious and often wed through slaughter to power. When they die, their people build freighted vault for their graves and arrange pealing anthem. In their praise, it is done. But the dead villagers lived noiseless, life content in what they had. They were content in what they had. They were unknown when they were alive. They also remain unknown after their death. They remained purity of life. They are as valuable as the gem that lie in the dark, unfathomed caves of ocean. They are as pure and beautiful as the flowers of deserts which are born to blush unseen, but leaves behind their fragrance on the desert air. Thus the two metaphors adequately bring into focus the value and beauty of the life of humble villagers. Thank you, viewers, for watching.